Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Our show is a production of our political committee, the Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp, or CRRH, and our affiliated nonprofit organization, the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, or THCF. We have an exciting show for you tonight. We have some film clips from the Million Marijuana March, some other things. Mr. Tim Pate is here, ready to provide musical accompaniment. Henrik Schell will be here a little bit later, and we'll have him talking about the Million Marijuana March. We have some film clips we'll be showing you. We'll be taking your phone calls, and we have the Hemp News segment that we'll be jumping to momentarily just after our infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves. And here they are. Ta-da. I think. Well, usually we have them here. Our first story tonight is from a small paper in Lowell, Massachusetts, the Lowell Sun. It's written by Evan Lehman. Representative Barney Frank wasn't blowing smoke when he promised on an HBO program 3 weeks ago to seek a repeal of federal law against personal cannabis use. The Newton, Massachusetts Democrat introduced a bill yesterday that gives states the ability to make marijuana legal in amounts of 3.5 ounces or less. He said Washington should treat cannabis like alcohol and tobacco. According to Frank, he said in a statement, quote, "I do not believe that the federal government should treat adults who choose to smoke marijuana as criminals," adding that it's not appropriate in a free society. It seems Frank's indulgences are limited to puffing on cigars between votes. He indicated last month on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher that he does not smoke cannabis. This is the first time that Frank has pulled for the decriminalization of personal cannabis use since he was in the state legislature in the 1970s. When he got to the federal Congress, he said, quote, "Frankly, I was feeling more cautious. I finally got to the point where I think I can get away with it," end quote. Under federal law, marijuana possession can land you in jail for a year and hit you with a $1,000 fine on the first conviction, and it gets much worse after that, according to Frank's office. U.S. Representative John Ulver of Amherst supports medical marijuana but hasn't expressed a position on Frank's effort regarding personal cannabis use. Now, from a slightly different perspective, we'll look at the same story. Congressman Barney Frank introduced legislation in Congress today to strip the federal government of its authority to arrest responsible adult cannabis consumers. The measure, H.R. 5843, also known as an act to remove federal penalties for personal use of marijuana by responsible adults, is the first decriminalization legislation introduced in 24 years. Frank said, quote, "It's time for politicians to catch up with the public on this issue. The notion that you lock people up for smoking marijuana is pretty silly," end quote, Frank said. Frank's pending bill is co-sponsored by presidential candidate Representative Ron Paul, a Republican of Texas, and seeks to eliminate all federal penalties prohibiting the personal use and possession of up to 100 grams or 3.5 ounces of marijuana. Under this measure, adults who consume cannabis would no longer face arrest, prison, or even the threat of a civil fine. The bill also eliminates all penalties for the not-for-profit transfer of up to 1 ounce of cannabis. According to Keith Stropp, the founder of NORML, who will be a speaker at our Hempstock Festival this September, and who worked closely with Frank's staff to draft this legislation, he said, quote, "If passed by Congress, this legislation would legalize the possession, use, and non-profit transfer of marijuana by adults for the first time since 1937, end quote. The The bill incorporates the basic recommendations of the National Commission on Marijuana and Drug Abuse, also known as the Schaefer Commission, which issued a report to this effect back in 1972. Currently, 12 states have enacted various versions of marijuana decriminalization, eliminating criminal penalties for minor cannabis violations. According to federal law, passage of these laws has not subsequently led to increased marijuana use. According to Alan St. Pierre, the director of NORML, this newly introduced legislation seeks to bring the federal government into line with over 100 million Americans who currently live in a state or municipality that's already decriminalized cannabis possession. This year, the masses in the United States celebrating 420 really have something to rejoice and now to lobby for. Similar statewide legislation is pending in New Hampshire and Vermont. Additionally, Massachusetts voters will decide on a statewide measure for decriminalization this November. According to a nationwide CNN Time magazine poll, more than 3/4 of Americans favor decriminalizing marijuana. On the other side of the aisle, there's a new federal medical marijuana bill that's been introduced by Representative Ron Paul. Ron Paul, who's a Republican out of Houston, Texas, and a physician, introduced H.R. 5842, the Medical Marijuana Protection Act, earlier today. This bill would make federal authorities respect states' current laws on medicinal cannabis and end DEA raids on facilities distributing medical marijuana legally under state law. Representative Paul, whose presidential campaign prominently featured the ending of the drug war as a platform plank, was joined by Barney Frank again in co-sponsoring this bill, too. Paul said in a 2004 debate regarding a similar measure, quote, "I think marijuana is a helpful medical treatment for people who have intractable nausea. I'd like to point out that it's not something strange that we're suggesting here. For the first 163 years of our history in this country, the federal government had total hands-off, and they never interfered with what the states were doing regarding medical marijuana," end quote. 12 states have approved the use of medical marijuana, beginning with California back in 1996 and Washington and Oregon in 1998. The DEA continues to raid and harass medical cannabis dispensaries operating within these states' laws. Presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama both indicated they would end such raids should they be elected. Michigan will vote on an initiative to adopt medical cannabis legislation this November. Passed to be the largest state since California to legalize medical marijuana. Minnesota and Rhode Island respective legislatures also are considering pro-reform legislation this year. Our last story tonight is from the San Francisco Examiner. San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom called for an investigation into threatening letters from the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration to local landlords in San Francisco who rent space to medical marijuana dispensaries, and he called on Capitol Hill officials to convene a congressional hearing. The state allows for the sale of marijuana for medical uses, but the drug remains illegal under federal law. In late December 2007, the DEA mailed letters to property owners throughout the state of California warning that federal agents could seize the assets of property owners who rent spaces to medical marijuana dispensaries. In an April 8th letter to the U.S. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Representative John Conyers, Democrat of Michigan, and obtained by the San Francisco Examiner, Newsom requested immediate oversight of the federal agency's ongoing interference with implementation of the law. He said, quote, "San Francisco strongly opposes Drug Enforcement Administration interference in medical cannabis dispensing, and the recent sensational letter threatening the property owners with asset forfeiture and imprisonment," end quote, from San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom. The city of San Francisco has more than 30 medical marijuana dispensaries, and California has over 400 of them. In the wake of the December letter, city officials have moved swiftly to show support for San Francisco's cannabis clubs. In February, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution authored by San Francisco Supervisor Chris Daley reaffirming that San Francisco is a sanctuary for medical marijuana and condemning the DEA actions against the property owners. Berkeley's also passed a resolution against the DEA's tactics, condemning raids on medical marijuana dispensaries. That's the end of our Hemp News segment for tonight. and we're going to go over to Mr. Tim Pate. How are you doing, Tim?
I am doing very well this week, Paul. How are you?
Very well. I understand you're getting ready for a couple big hemp fests. You're organizing a new huge one down in San Diego in the Imperial Valley?
Imperial Valley. We've got one down in El Centro, California that was coming up in the first weekend of November. And then we also obviously have Hemp Fest in Seattle. I'm on the core staff with that, and that's moving right along.
That's the biggest one in the nation and has been, with about 250,000 people coming.
We'll get that many or more. We really will. And that's the granddaddy of all of them. And then Hemp Stock here. We'll have our 4th annual one up here coming up. And
we're excited about that. We can announce tonight that we have Folk Uke, the daughters of Arlo Guthrie and Willie Nelson. It's what are their names, Tim?
Amy Nelson and Kathy Guthrie.
Amy Nelson and Kathy Guthrie. So they'll be performing. And John Trudell is in the lineup as well. And as are you. You've opened all of our hemp stock festivals, Tim, as you've opened all the Seattle hemp stock festivals.
I have done that as well. I have. I seem to be busy around hemp festival time, and that's fine with me.
For yourself, but that's great.
You know, we have. There's a reason we do this. We're very political. Sometimes we don't mean to be political, but you know, it does. It ekes out of us over time. And after this last week, I saw the news that there was the salmon run on the West Coast was absolutely and completely decimated, and that we weren't going to be able to do any more with salmon this year. No fishing, no anything hardly. I felt like I ought to pull out this political song tonight.
You got a fishy song?
Well, it's about us and what we've done to the world.
All right.
It's called the Indian Song. You've heard it before. It's not on any album, but I hope to put it on the next one.
All right.
Cherokee. I came on the trail of tears, and that's where I lost my wife, and now she's gone. I am the Seminole. I lived in the Florida Keys, but the white man wanted them, and now they're gone. Iroquois. I had the Great Lakes north, but the iron ore was there, and now it's gone. I am the Arapaho. I hunted buffalo, but the long guns came and shot them, and now they're gone. Apache strong. I live in the hotland south, but the white man took the water, and now it's gone. I am the Inuit. I live in the cold lands north, but the oil, it is there, soon it'll be gone. I am the Chinook Took. I lived on Wapato, but the smallpox came and took us, and now we're gone. am the Snohomish. I lived on salmon strong, but the nets they came and took 'em, and now they're gone. This is the planet Earth. It is where we all live. If we don't get it right soon, it'll all be gone.
That's a great song, Tim. Thank you. Really like that one. Inspirational. And, you know, we try to be inspirational, too. And if you're interested in giving us a call tonight, we'll be taking your phone calls. If you have a question about legalizing and regulating the sale of marijuana, ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or questions about medical marijuana, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We have another wonderful bouquet of flowers from the THCF Medicinal Gardens. Whole plethora of varieties there that are just too good and aromatic to describe. That is one beautiful bouquet.
That is one of Andrew's finest, it looks like.
Yep. We've outdone ourselves. It's great. So how are you doing this week, Tim?
Oh, you know, it's been a really good week. Obviously, we're in the planning stages for so many different shows, so we've been in touch with a lot of different people, and I'm happy to say, too, not only is Los Marijuana's coming for the Million Marijuana March on May the 3rd.
May the 3rd.
We're going to have them here on our show the night before on May the 2nd. So check in with us on May the 2nd. We're going to have a lot of really exciting people here that night. And then also they're going to be coming back and performing again for us at the Hemp Stock this year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we've confirmed that this year, as well as you mentioned a few minutes ago, Folk Uke.
I'm very excited about that.
I am. I really am.
Amy Nelson and...
Amy Nelson is Willie Nelson's daughter.
Right.
Kathy Guthrie is Arlo Guthrie's daughter. And both of them, are born and
carrying on their tradition.
Exactly. They're, born into tradition, and they're going to carry it on. That's very exciting for us. It's good to have them here.
Well, right there on the screen, we have a list of conditions. If you have one of those conditions, you qualify for medical marijuana in any of a dozen states around the United States. So you want more information on that, just give us a call. In fact, get your pen and paper around, and we'll have more information for you a little bit later in the show. And, yeah, I think a lot of people like this bouquet. The shadow, I guess, isn't good, though. It's a bad shadow for you. Shadows are bad in television, too. That's another thing.
So what are the different varieties in this bouquet?
I cannot answer that.
Do you actually recognize them and tell them?
Oh, my word.
What?
Could you?
No, I had no chance.
I couldn't either.
I can't tell the
they're
difference
all
between white
mixed
widow,
in
white
there.
rhino, and white ever.
I got my... They're different kinds, though, I can tell you that.
They do look different.
I think we have some strawberry cough. I think there's a lot. There's a new strain we just developed called the Green Goddess, and that's named after our movie that we're associate producers in.
Yes.
The Green Goddess, which will be coming out later this year. It's been on the verge of coming out for a while, but finally everything's coming together.
I'm glad to hear that. It's been a long time in coming.
It's true, and I actually have my first acting part in there. I am not a doctor, I want to tell you that, but in the movie The Green Goddess, I play a doctor.
Plays one in the movies. Yes.
I play one in the movies. Not on television. I don't play a doctor here. But we do have doctors on the show periodically. I have to get Dr. Orvald back in here sometime soon.
Yeah, he's a busy man. You were busy this week, too. Where'd you go this week?
We were very busy. We were in Spokane, saw 100 patients over a 2-day period of time. Then in Bellevue on Thursday and Friday, we testified in Kitsap County the week before, and we got to go back and testify in Kitsap County again. There's a lot of controversy up there in Washington, and sometimes the police in Washington arrest lawful medical marijuana patients. And so we'll be talking a little bit more about the case of Bruce and Pam Olson that we'll be testifying on next Wednesday in Kitsap County. But we have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I was just inquiring on how and what it takes to be a legal card holder for medicine.
Well,
what state do you live in, Matt?
Portland, Oregon.
Oregon. What you do is you get a doctor to recommend medical marijuana. There are state forms that the Oregon Department of Health produces. There's an application form and a physician statement form. And you fill out the application form, and you got to name a location that you are going to grow at. You have to have all your plants in one location.
Okay.
And you're allowed under Oregon law to bud 6 plants and have 18 little babies that are less than a foot tall and a foot wide. And you can have up to 24 ounces of marijuana under Oregon's law. You can also name another person or two to help you grow medical marijuana. Then you go to your physician and get your physician to fill out the recommendation. You have to have one of the qualifying conditions, and your doctor has to certify that. Once you have those 2 forms filled out, you turn them in to the state health department here in Portland. They have an office in the Oregon building near the Lloyd Center. You turn it in with a payment of $100 to the state of Oregon. Then they issue a permit to you, and if you name other people, your caregiver and or grower, and they give you a card and a certificate that allows you to grow that amount of plants mentioned earlier. 6 budding plants, 18 babies that are less than a foot tall or a foot wide, and possess up to 24 ounces of marijuana.
Now that card's good for 1 year.
That's right. You have to renew it every year. Doctor has to sign the paperwork every year. And you, if you're on food stamps or the Oregon Health Plan or Social Security's SSI program, then the fee is $20 a year instead of $100 to the Oregon Health Department.
No, it's reduced.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's reduced if someone's on food stamps, the Oregon Health Plan, or SSI. And so,
I just, what I did is I took a class in drugs, alcohol, and what does the body and the mind and stuff, and I just had surgery, so I'm going through all that, and technically I guess I'm a 95% person with arthritis for life.
I see.
So I can do all of that, and then my caretaker would probably be my wife. She's been in a couple of real bad accidents too, so she could qualify.
She could be a patient as well if you wanted to do it that way. Sounds like. If she's a chronic pain patient.
How long would that take once I got the paperwork filled out and...
Once you've had a doctor recommend it, and if your doctor won't do it, then we have doctors across the western United States. In fact, our clinic in Portland sees patients 5 or 6 days a week now. So our doctors can help you get the permit as long as you have medical records of a qualifying condition.
Okay.
Then you turn it in the state. As soon as you turn it into the state and pay that fee to the state, you're legal that day. Up in Washington State, there is no paperwork to turn in to the state. You just get a certificate from your doctor, and you carry that certificate with you. And that's good for a year. And you don't pay any extra fee to the state.
And then it's just every year $100 like a license type deal?
In Oregon, it's $100 unless you're qualified for one of the low-income patients.
And we're on food stamps too, so...
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate you helping me, and if I have any other kind of questions, I can do this number here, or I can do the other number that I got out of the paper.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and that number that's there on your screen, 503-235-4606, is a good number for referral.
Okay, I appreciate it very much, and you have a great evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
If you have a question for us tonight being the 18th of April, 2008, then Friday night, call us at 503-288-4448.
What show number is this?
446, I think, isn't it?
Well, that's
that
pretty
right?
good.
446.
That's how many years? 13, 14 years, something like that?
Yeah, 13. 13
Lucky.
years. I did the first 3 or 4 by myself, and I've had co-hosts ever since. It's hard to talk all by yourself.
You can't have a conversation with yourself and the camera.
It's very difficult.
It is easier.
It can be done, but you have to be verbose.
That's true.
And so now we've done, 400 hours of television. How can you say anything new after 400 hours? Well, that's where phone calls help. They mix it up a little bit. Get you to turn your...
And every circumstance of people, everybody's different, but they all have the same need, and that's what's amazing. There's a commonality among each one of the phone calls that we get in.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised by that.
Hey, caller, you are on our show. Hello.
Hey, guys. And Oregon is always a good place to be a needy person, we found, right?
That's true. It helps.
Great. Hey, we want to give a shout-out. Tomorrow is the Earth Day Fest.
That's right.
Taking place at Overlook Park.
All right.
There's going to be several acts out there and some good booths and lots of people and lots of fun. So
where's Overlook Park at?
We're going to be there. It's over in northeast Portland off Fremont, about 30th and Fremont.
Okay, 30th and Fremont. What's the time on the event?
For some support. And you guys have a great eve.
Oh, you too.
Thanks.
Take care. Thanks.
Thanks.
It's probably either all day or from noon on sometime.
I'll have to pop over there.
Unless I got that wrong, call us back in and let us know what time that is tomorrow.
So, again, if you have a question for us tonight, call us at 503-288-4448. Maybe we should go through our sharing period here tonight.
Okay.
It's sharing, our show and tell, so we say. Okay, cameras, get ready. We're going to close in on this stuff here. First of all, here's the Million Marijuana March. It's coming up real soon on the 3rd of May, just around the corner, a couple weeks from now. This is a quart bottle of tincture from a pharmacy way back when, about 1880. It's an example of what they call a lug bottle. It's got a label under the glass. They'd have a little label, and they'd put it under there, and that would keep it solid. So this was tincture of cannabis, an alcohol extract of cannabis. Right next door, we have tasty hulled hemp seeds from Pure Prairie Emerald out in Canada. I bought these next couple of items in this from hempoil.com or hempoilcan.com. And so these are hulled hemp seeds. They are very tasty. They take the outer crunchy coat off of the hemp seed, and it tastes like a cross between pecans and cashews or walnuts, and it's very tasty.
It's not a bad choice.
Here we have hemp seed oil. I take 7 of these every day to get all the omega-6 and omega-3, the essential fatty acids that are good for your immune system, your heart, and your brain. So they press this, and after they press hemp seeds, after they've taken that oil out, this is what they have left. Hemp flour, which is high in protein. What is it? It's 20% protein. That's pretty darn high. And it's got all the essential fatty acids that you need. It's protein-enriched, gluten-free, whole grain flour that imparts the nutty flavor of hemp into a wide variety of baked goods. It's an excellent source of protein, containing all of the essential amino acids. And it's very high in dietary fiber, too, for regularity. Here is hemp milk. Lovely, tasty hemp milk made up in Canada, and it's distributed from here in Portland. That brand is. And here, our old favorite, Hemp Plus granola. It's tasty. You got a couple books there?
There are a couple of books. Here's one, Hemp Horizons. Let's see here. The comeback of the world's most promising plant.
Yep.
Oh, John Rulock. Oh, yeah. I've met John Rulock.
And then here's the Great Book of Hemp. And right in there, in page 3 and 4, it says that moi, yours truly, brought the first hemp paper and the first hemp fabric into the United States with tree-free eco paper.
And 4.
Rope Paper and Fiber Corporation.
3 and 4. Here we go.
It's right there in those paragraphs.
I'm sure it is.
We did it long ago. So if you're out, you got a book you want to show?
I do.
We have another. Oh, this is.
I do. This is one that just came into the office today. This is from Oregon Normal.
We are giving these out now to every patient that goes through and sees our doctor.
This is the Oregon Medical Marijuana Handbook from Oregon Normal.
Handbook.
And it's got wonderful stuff in here. It has a lot of questions that I get asked every day. Who's eligible for the program? What are the fees? What role does the doctor play? What happens if my doctor won't help me? What do I do? Do I need a caregiver? Do I need a grower? How do I interact with the police? How do I interact with my landlord? This is just a really, really excellent book. It has a lot of resources, and we'll be giving these to every patient who comes through the clinic. And if you'd like to just stop by the clinic, we'd be more than happy to just give you one of these. And the clinic is at 105 Southeast 18th Avenue in Portland. And this is just a really excellent resource. I have been just wishing for a book like this to give away for a long time.
Absolutely. And our staff member, Melody Silverworth, Sister Sativa, helped put that thing together. And it's been, we printed up, I think, 6,000 of them, 5,000 of them.
Yeah, so it's just an excellent resource.
Plus, we have our new newspaper. Hemp News is out there.
That's right.
Hemp News newspaper, which you can see here.
You can grab those at any library.
Go to any library, exactly. You can come to our office, like he said. And then I want to reintroduce over here Henrik Rode, who works diligently at the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation. You made a videotape for last year's Hempstock Festival, and I know you wanted to...
Well, actually, the Million Marijuana March last year.
Yeah, exactly. Million Marijuana March.
Kind of
which
like
this year's is coming up just in 2 weeks.
It's in May 3rd, yeah. It's going to be a fun event. It was a really great event last year. I really enjoyed going down there and taking a videotape. And actually, if we just cut right to that clip, can we do that?
Well, I don't know if they're quite ready.
Are we lined up?
They're working.
They're giving me a moment, so keep talking and we'll have it ready.
The Million Marijuana March, it's coming up on May 3rd. What it is, it's a worldwide event. People in cities all over the world march on the same day. And in Portland last year, we had like 500, 600, 700, 800 people maybe.
We had 420 people.
420 people.
This year we're going to have more than that.
I'm not good at counting. Maybe double that.
That'd be nice.
And it was a fun event. We marched. We kind of took over the streets, and it was like we were out there in front.
And you know what?
And
they've got the film queued.
Film's ready.
Let's let it roll.
Enjoy. Let it roll.
Good volunteers.
Or roll them if you got them.
Roll them if you got them?
Yes. That too.
I got it. I got it.
We want to let everybody know that we're law-abiding citizens and that we respect the law. So let's
relax it and tax it. Medical marijuana gotta have it. Relax it and tax it.
Righteousness, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious. Legalize it. Legalize it. Legalize it. Legalize it. Legalize it. Legalize it. I smoke pot and I like it a lot. I smoke pot and I like it a lot. We said I smoke pot and I like it a lot. I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
Marijuana. Marijuana. Hey, hey, hey. Going on. Free hemp now. 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 Lock in his face. And I like it a lot.
To run on hemp oil. 1 acre yields 300 gallons of biodiesel. Do you want your fuel dollar going in the pocket of an Arab sheik or an American farmer? Which would you rather see your money to? How many American boys have died from fuel? Give me weed or give me death.
me liberty, yeah.
Give me liberty,
You know,
give me death.
Wow, that was a powerful little piece you put together there.
That's not new. It's been used before.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, that was Los Marijuanos, and they
I
are
feel the same way.
They are so way behind this whole thing that they're very committed.
They are very good. They're going to be here on May 2nd, which is I think not our next show, but it's up there.
So will they be playing at the post-march party at the Mount Tabor Theater?
Yes,
Los
they will.
Marijuanos?
Yes,
So
they
after
will.
the march this year, on the 3rd, Los Marijuanos will be at the Mount Tabor Theater playing at the after-march party. Is
That's
that right?
correct.
That is
That's great. Yeah, it was really a celebration last year is what I noticed. A lot of people in the streets.
Well, today's is going to be an all-day event. Up to now, all of these have been an event that ended at, there'd be like an hour afterwards. We'd talk at the square and then we'd all go away. But this year, Oregon Normal has the Pioneer Courthouse Square all day, I think, up until 6 or 7 o'clock.
So there'll be booths and vendors there
There'll
and all
be
that?
booths, there'll be vendors, and
That's great.
fun will be had by one and all.
Yes, got great bands coming in and a lot of good speakers.
May
as usual.
3rd. Up
Okay,
in
here's
Seattle, they're going to do a march for patients up there. And so they're concentrating on how in Seattle, even though a lot of patients have medical marijuana permits, the police sometimes arrest them with impunity and bring them to trial. And we'll talk more about that in a second.
And also in Seattle, they haven't been having a march for a while.
That's
and
right.
So this is
the last time they had a march, we went there and taped it and showed it. Yeah. Bill and I did here on Cannabis Common Sense, and then the next year we started doing them here. Our Madeline and Oregon Normal started putting them on here in Portland.
I think it's our 7th in a row here now.
So, but one thing I noticed last year when I was filming this and when I was editing that clip was that, and I don't really know how to put this, but a lot of the spirit that was there was a celebration, but a lot of it was like flashback, old hippie tie-dye dancing in the street stuff.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
I understand that, and I want you to understand that I am as much a proponent of free artistic expression in the streets as the next fellow. I myself have danced naked in the streets of more than one major American metropolitan city.
I'd like to have a film of that.
Well, fortunately, we don't have any film clips of that tonight. But however, this year, what I would like to, what I'm here to do, I'd like to recruit amongst the 12,000 people that are watching this show.
Or however many.
That's a totally made-up estimate on my part. But I would like to get 4 other guys to show up for this march wearing suits. For a little contingent that, for lack of any imaginative term, I'm going to call 5 guys in suits.
I like it.
Okay, you don't have to be guys. I don't want to be sexist or exclusionary. You don't have to be male or female or gay or straight or transgender or whatever. But what I would like is to get, like 5 persons in suits just walking together to say that this is something that cuts across all society, economic and social and racial and gender lines.
Yeah,
because
the largest, cross-cultural group in the world.
We are, and the people that come into our clinic.
Smokers than there are Jews and Christians and Unitarians combined.
Well, the people that are come into our clinic, because I'm in the clinic every day and I talk to everybody. And this is not one section of people. This is not 18-year-olds or 23-year-olds or 65-year-olds. This is like, I see people from every walk of life and every economic stature. And I know a lot of the people that are wearing tie-dyes and go out dancing in the streets, which we all had a great time doing.
We did.
But when they go to work on Monday morning, they're wearing a tie. And I'm just asking for 4 of you to show up wearing a suit and tie, and we'll walk down the street together. That's all I'm saying.
Right on.
Okay.
Make another great film. That was a good piece you put together. Well edited.
I did.
Thank you. I
I
really enjoy doing that. Editing is a fun thing to do.
Well, keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep making more films for us. That's nice.
So I'll bring my camera this year too. Then, what are we going to call it? We're going to call it the Cannabis Cam.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, I like
okay,
that.
I'll bring the Cannabis Cam down to the.
All right, I know we'll have a lot of them there. You can count on that.
Yeah, the DA will be there again, and
they were there
we'll
last year.
We'll be filming them and putting them on
our
website.
Oh, I have pictures of them from last year.
Will soon be dead.
I have pictures of the DEA from last year. I should have put them in the clip. I have a still.
We put up their pictures.
I'll bring
tell us what happened to the DEA agent that we filmed last year. I understand that he got transferred to another area.
Did he?
Yes.
The cool-looking guy with the nice glasses.
Yes, I understand he got transferred
I'm
out.
sorry, because I had a really nice picture of him.
All right.
Anyway, there'll be a new DEA agent there this year, so we want you all to be ready for that.
Let's see what a caller has to say. Hello, caller. You're on the show. Hello, caller.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hey.
So my question is, we are going to be traveling to San Francisco shortly, and my question is, I want to know if any of the clubs or dispensaries would honor our Oregon card.
Most of them won't. There's a lot of them out there, and I've heard some of them do, but most of them won't. I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
So there are a number, like you said, there are a number.
Now, you know, there are
that
some
will.
doctors out there that have licenses in Oregon and California, and even Washington and others. If you get one of those doctors to write you up a recommendation for California too, then you can get into most of the clubs up there, or down there, I should say.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind the next time you're getting your medical marijuana permit. If you want multiple states, you just ask for it.
Okay.
It can be done. For Oregon, you have to be an Oregon resident. For California and Washington, the law is there's no state registry. So a doctor's recommendation is all you need. A doctor licensed in that state, Washington and California. In other states, though, you have to register with the registry. So if you get a doctor who's licensed in all three of those states, and we have a few doctors that way, then you can be legal in multiple states. I personally am legal in Oregon, Washington, California, and I also have a Hawaii driver's license, and therefore had our doctor, the same doctor, legalized me for Hawaii too. So.
Okay. And then
Last time I flew there, in fact, a little bit of my cannabis was found. I got subjected to a little more intense search, and the police came down, and I showed them my card. They says, "Well, you're not legal when you leave Oregon airspace." And I said, "Well, I'm flying to Hawaii, and here's my Hawaii card, so I'll be legal when I land there too." They didn't, and a couple times they just let me go. They have never taken my cannabis in the Portland airport, I'm happy to say.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Paul, that you really go out of your way.
I do. I carry my volcano vaporizer with me, and I go on TV with a big bouquet
Exactly.
of marijuana.
Who's hiding around here? Not us. This is so
neat smell of it.
Such a distraction to have this here. You know it is. I love it.
Now here we have a nifty little Sherlock. This is not a marijuana smoking pipe. This is a vapor pipe. It has a special bowl built right into it that a heat gun goes into, and you put a little bit of water down in there. It's got a carburetor. As you can see here, I don't know if you can make that out in TV land, but it says THCF right there on the bowl. Isn't that nifty? Someone was inspired. And there you have it. A
very good
handheld vaporizer. Yeah. You have to use it with a heat gun. The heat guns are out there. You can get them. Sears, Craftsman, they're very well.
So I understand that this particular vaporization bowl is endorsed by Andrew himself?
I think so. Yes. I think it's THC endorsed. It says THCF. So it has to be THCF endorsed. I mean, we got it here on the show.
That's right. That's right.
You know. Okay, we got another caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to our show.
Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Yeah, I was watching the other public access channel, and they had the governor of New Mexico talking about the war on drugs.
Yeah, the ex-governor. Gary Richardson. No, not Bill Richardson, who's the current governor, but he's talking about Gary. What was his last name? You remember?
No, I don't, but he had a great quote about it not being a gateway drug.
Yeah.
He said, if I drink beer, does that mean I'm going to end up drinking Everclear?
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
Exactly. Well, you know, it was alcohol prohibition that took most beer drinkers and made them into hard liquor swingers. It was, Al Capone did not want to move 96% water when he was selling beer. He preferred moving 96% alcohol.
Yeah, he had a whole hour on this. It was amazing.
Yeah, Gary, it's not, I can't remember his name.
Well, maybe somebody could go to
he's the ex-governor of New Mexico, a Republican, two-time governor, and he's been an advocate for legalization most effectively for about 15 years now, a dozen years. He's really good. He's a marathon runner, too, one of those Ironman triathlons.
Really unusual fella. He said he ticked off everybody in every political area there was in New Mexico, so maybe we need somebody like him.
And now they have legal medical marijuana in New Mexico.
Yeah, so. Another governor that's definitely worth checking out is the Montana guy. He knows more about energy than you could believe.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So, thanks for the work.
Thank you. Thanks for your call.
Meeting at Mount Tabor the 4th weekend.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. In fact, this week, the 4th Saturday of the month, they are going to have someone from the Medical Marijuana Program Office to address the changes that take effect come July 1st in the medical marijuana law. It's my understanding that on July 1st, people like me that have been caregivers for a lot more people than 4 are going to be limited to only being caregivers for 4 patients. So a spokesman from the Medical Marijuana Program Office, Department of Health in Oregon, will be at the next Oregon Normal Cardholder meeting on the 4th Saturday of the month, that being the 26th. So you want to come down to Mount Tabor Theater and Pub there at the corner of Southeast 49th and Hawthorne at about 11:30 a.m., no later than 12, to get into that Oregon Normal Medical Marijuana Patient Cardholder meeting. You have to be an Oregon Normal member and a medical marijuana cardholder to attend that meeting, but you can join there at the door if you want.
Paul, how many patients do you caregive for?
Right now, I'm a caregiver for 25. At one point, I was a caregiver for up to 35.
Well, keep the clones going.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the call. So we're also going to have a potluck coming up, and that's going to be for volunteers. You know, the fun is intended.
Now, when you say potluck,
that means food. Bring a food
like
dish.
old church lady potluck.
If you bring a food dish, we'll know you're serious.
That's
we'll
right.
know you really want to be a volunteer at the Hempstock Festival this summer. The potluck is going to be at our office on 420, at 420. That's this Sunday, April 20th, at 420. And it is at 105 Southeast 18th Avenue. I should know this address. 105 Southeast 18th Avenue. And we've got that. We have classes also every Wednesday night taught by the medicine man himself, Andrew, the screener of the phone calls. And those are available every Wednesday night. You can check our office for more information. There are most of the classes are only for medical marijuana card holders on how to grow cannabis, but there's 1 or 2 that are open to non-card holders, so you want to check on that.
So, my favorite class in that whole series is the how to administer medical marijuana safely.
And that's the one that anyone can go to. You don't have to be a card holder.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because there we talk about tinctures.
The law. Isn't that it?
No, the law. I'm talking about administering safely, where we talk about tinctures, and we talk about how to make capsules and eating. How to make
You've become
butter.
a new advocate of the capsule. For pain, spasms, and seizures, it's better to take cannabis orally. And
I love the capsules. They're great. I had a little bout of bronchitis last year and had to really cut down on my smoking, and I started using the capsules. And I'm just loving them. They're working really well.
Hey, you know who's on the phone?
Cool. Good.
We have Oregon Normal's head honcho,
Madeline
Martinez.
Hey. What? We lost her?
Well, that was fun.
Call back, Madeline.
We'll see you again soon.
Always a pleasure to have Madeline on the phone.
Well, she was on the phone, and I don't know. Did she wait too long? I don't know.
We'll
Some kind of connection thing.
She always has something
We
important
have
to
another
say.
call. Someone else. We're happy to take your phone call. Hello, sir, or ma'am.
Yes, I just wanted to tell you it's Gary Johnson, the governor.
Gary Johnson, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great evening.
You too. Thanks a lot.
He's a good guy. Came out for legalization of many things, including marijuana, and a real libertarian.
That's what happens when you're on live
in principle.
You
That's
can never
true.
remember the name, Oh, no. It's important to have people of all political persuasions understand the reality of what's going on here. I'm glad he's a Republican in doing this. It's obviously, so many Democrats are more in favor of this and have been for a long time. But
now, I want to tell our viewers out there that if you are here in Portland, you can come down to any TV show. We have a big studio audience here tonight, and we have an after-show gathering as well. So if you are here in Portland, come on down to our cable TV studio. It's at 2766 Northeast MLK or Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. It's every Friday night, live at 8 o'clock. And we go a little ways away over to 6 Northeast Tillamook Street afterwards. And we have a after-show get-together and vaporization demonstration and many other things. So come on down, get involved, help end marijuana prohibition.
Just to let you know,
Friday night, you can come and smell these things. It smells up the whole studio, doesn't it, folks?
Tell us,
really
people,
really
live audience.
Thank you. So, we have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Are you tonight?
Hi.
Thank you for taking my call.
You betcha.
Hey, when the law changes, is that 4 people per caregiver or per household?
Caregiver.
Okay.
Now, it's my understanding, and I may
8.
be wrong, so check in the future that that community gardens and caregivers will be able to band together, but there's some question about that, so stay tuned in the future.
We'll let you know as soon as we know anything.
Okay,
but
great. Well,
you
hey,
want to be sure that you never run afoul of the federal 100-plant rule, so you don't want more than 100 plants at one location, or the feds
That's
get
good
pretty
rule of thumb, I'd
serious.
say for sure. A nice, safe way to do it.
Yep.
You guys are great. We need some great signage for the marijuana mart.
True. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have some great ideas. I'll be calling the clinic and letting you.
Okay, great.
Good.
Yeah, you guys,
down.
thank you so much. I'll let another caller get in. Have a good evening, and
You
keep
too.
doing such a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're glad to do it. Another thing I want to remind our folks is we have a wonderful web portal now. If you're out there, you can see all of our websites from hemp.org. That's www.hemp.org. And you got to have the www in front of there at hemp.org. That will lead you to our clinic site, our political committee site, the Cannabis Tax Act site, museum site where you can see all these different bottles and a lot more.
The Hempstock site?
The Hempstock site is prominently featured in there.
Very good.
We have another caller. Hi, caller.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Excellent.
Very well.
Excellent. Good to see all of you.
Thanks.
I just
Glad to
wanted
be
to say hemp, hooray, and I liked what he was saying about coming out in suits. You know, I hope instead of 5, I hope it's 50. Or maybe even
I bet he'd be
150 people come in suits to
5,
say, you know
7,
what? Here
50.
I am.
Make sure you have your attaché cases, too. That'd be helpful.
We're going to overgrow this government.
I just want to show there's a professional approach to this.
There is.
We're not a bunch of. Well, we are a
Crazies.
bunch of. Actually.
Careful.
Actually, we are a bunch of. But,
Only a little crazy.
You know what we're a bunch of?
People.
We're a bunch
Humans.
of people. We're a bunch of enlightened people.
Yes.
And although this government system that we're in has a tendency to put everybody in little boxes and then divide them up, because house
The divide
divided
and conquer
on
your
itself
strategy.
cannot stand. I believe it was Mr. Lincoln that said that. So as long as they have us labeled as conservatives or liberals or left or right or ad infinitum, you add the two. The fact of the matter is we all have to unite. And
They like to divide
this
us.
is a plant that unites.
Amen.
You know, one of my favorite terms out there is individual. And we've got to expand individual rights, and allowing cannabis to be legally sold will go a long way toward doing that, I believe.
Well, it can be a plant that truly does save the planet. We all know that.
And save our freedom as well, I hope.
So I hope that a number of us will be out on Earth Day showing our colors.
Yep, I'm sure we will. Right, I think they have something at the Overlook Park, they were saying earlier. Well, thanks for your call, sir.
Hey, you guys have a good evening.
Okay, yep, glad to have you.
Hemp, hemp, hooray.
Hemp, hooray. And we want to remind our viewers out there that if you have one of the qualifying conditions for medical marijuana, we have doctors all across the western United States that can help you get a medical marijuana permit. Those qualifying conditions include chronic severe pain and chronic nausea, cancer, AIDS, glaucoma, gastrointestinal ailments like GERD and IBS and Crohn's disease, neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and glaucoma. I said that one. But if you are looking for a doctor, then we have a physician referral service. Here in Portland, you can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. If you're up in Seattle, our Seattle number is 206-878-1701. That's 206-878-1701. There it is, 206-878-1701. If you're watching us in Denver, Colorado, or anywhere in Colorado, you can call our Colorado office at 303-403-9996. That's 303-403-9996. If you're in Southern California, you can call our office in Riverside, California at 951-7 951-782-9898. That's 951-782-9898. And if you're outside of all those major metropolitan areas, you can call us anywhere at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. Want to thank you for watching another edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Mr. Tim Pate is going to be ending our show with music, and we'll have some photos of the THCF Medical Marijuana Gardens, which, boy, it sure smells lovely here tonight. I wish we could get smell-o-vision for you folks out there. But come into our studio any Friday night. You can be there and help us restore hemp. Hemp, hooray. Thank you, folks.